forecast for Friday, December 13th. Okay, so welcome to a very magical day in the cosmos, December 13th. More specifically, Friday the 13th. And before you say, wait a second, I thought Friday 13th were bad. Nope, you've just been indoctrinated to demonize the divine number of 13. Fridays are ruled over by Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. There is a significant meaning to 13, but because, of course, they don't want us to know that wisdom, knowledge, and power, it's been demonized in society. And so, not that I'm going to go into a whole 13 divinely scripted number event rant here. However, I just want you to know that today is a magical day. Not only because we have this Friday the 13th energy really supporting us to get heart aligned. And again, Venus being the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's currently in Aquarius energy, pushing our awareness, pushing our consciousness to new levels so that we can see our physical realms, our lives, what we've built, what we've created as far as routines, relationships, financial situations, see that from a greater, grander perspective, a bigger lens, in order for us to come up with a goal, a vision, a dream that, again, we can start actively trying to manifest. We got that going for us, but we also have the moon in Taurus energy, which Venus rules over, mind you. We have the moon in Taurus energy going void of course at 7:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're shifting into Gemini energy at 12:23 p.m. So this is important because, first of all, we're kind of handing the baton over to Mr. Mercury. And as you know, Mercury is currently retrograde in Sagittarius energy, pushing us to look back, reflect back in the past, analyze from a bigger, broader lens, if you will, plucking out the wisdom, the knowledge of certain tough love life lessons. We are essentially expanding upon our perspective, our understanding of the tough love life lessons that we had to go through in order to land us at this particular juncture, which of course, yes, we want answers. We want clarity on how to move on, move forward, but all that we are seeking as far as moving on and moving forward can be found in the past. Now, not only is that significant, but when we shift in to that Gemini energy, we're also entering into the full moon window because, of course, we're going to have this full moon in Gemini pop off on the 15th. Mercury rules over that Gemini energy, and Mercury is going to station direct very, very shortly after this full moon that Mercury rules over and this Gemini energy pops off. And the significance of the epiphanies, the downloads, the aha moments that we receive around a retrograde planet happens, first of all, when we go retrograde. So again, go back like 3-ish weeks. That's when Mercury first went retrograde. And the point in time, the surrounding 2 or 3 days prior to the planet going direct, which we're in that particular window. So there's all sorts of connections being made in this particular energy here today. Again, we don't want to kind of commit or really solidify our choices, our decisions, because we haven't been fully illuminated to the information, to the details that will be coming our way under this full moon event. So you may have a good idea on what needs to be done, where it is that you need to go from here, the missing puzzle pieces, if you will, but you're going to want to step back, not act upon that until we're fully informed, until we can see all of the moving pieces that, again, will be revealed to us over the next couple of days here before we commit to anything, align to anything, or really kind of attach ourselves to a specific path, direction, or outcome. So with all of that being said, there are 12 different aspects popping off here today. 9 of them are going to be involving the moon. Now, we kick the day off with a outer planet interaction that is pretty significant. This is a long-term event, long-term interaction between Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who, of course, is still retrograde in this Gemini energy that, again, we're going to get another activation once the moon moves into Gemini and we start moving towards the full moon in Gemini and having Mercury go direct in that Sagittarius. It's going to influence the growth, the wisdom, the knowledge that we're able to actually integrate and expand upon because Jupiter is being pulled into this particular moon event as well. Jupiter is making a little bit of an awkward interaction with Pluto, the great transformer, who of course is an Aquarius energy. So yes, this is air on air action, but they're not interacting well together. And in fact, this is going to create a little bit of tension, if you will. It is, they're both outer planets, so there is a subtle energy to this particular activation. However, there's going to be certain, I'm going to say, situations, activations, circumstances that pop off that kind of nudge us in a different direction, especially where our beliefs are concerned. Belief of what it is that has happened in the past, belief of where it is that we're at now, beliefs that may be limiting or holding us back from moving on and moving forward. There's going to be some sort of tension point, some sort of challenge, some sort of shit hitting the fan, so to speak, in order for us to realize that, man, we got to get our shit together. Maybe we need an attitude adjustment. Maybe we need to tap into the attitude of gratitude. Maybe we have to understand that the struggle that we're currently going through is actually the foundation to teach us of our greatest strengths. Maybe we have to open up our mind to where it is that we have to learn something new in order to break out of the same old looping patterns and behaviors that we're currently caught up in. Either way, there's going to be some sort of activation that does not feel good, that is going to put into perspective where it is that a change needs to be made in order for us to grow, in order for us to evolve, in order for us to advance in any kind of way. And what we're really going to realize is that there are no shortcuts. Okay, we have to do the work. We have to go through the hard parts in order to appreciate the good parts. We have to sit in the darkness in order to appreciate the light. There is no detour. There are no shortcuts in us learning the lessons and evolving from it. So although it may be tempting to kind of figure out, okay, well, I want to hurry this process up. Like, what can I do to kind of speed it up? Even though there is that part of us pushing for resolution, for decision, for choice, we have to avoid all that. Jupiter is magnifying and over exaggerating the, let's call it, urgency, the importance of figuring things out like in a night. It's not, we are not that pressured, okay? We have plenty of time, but we're moving into this full moon energy that, of course, is going to magnify and amplify our thoughts and our feelings. And Jupiter, who turns the volume all the way up, is definitely going to add to that. And Pluto is there taking us down, let's call it a trip down the darker parts of memory lane in order for us to gain bigger, broader insight. So this is how we're starting the day off. We do have the moon in Taurus energy, making a positive interaction with Mars. Mars being the god of war, ruling over physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. He is currently retrograde. So again, we're on the bench, low energy levels, low F's to give, low passion, low desire. Okay, we're sitting on the bench to reassess what our passions, our excitements, our desires actually are, where our anger stems from, what kind of, let's call it, path, direction that we actually want to pour our time, energy into. And so again, with all these retrograde planets, there is this point where we want to push on, push forward, but it's not being supported. We have to look back in order to figure out how we're going to move on. The moon in Taurus going to make this positive interaction with Mars. This is giving us a grounded perspective on where it is that we have to flip our mood and attitude to be okay with the ants in our pants, with the restlessness that we currently feel, and remove the urgency. And instead, just explore what it is that our heart and soul is asking for us to explore. Again, there may be a part of us where our ego is pushing for these goals, these visions, our dreams, but our soul self is like, not really in alignment with that anymore. Maybe we should kind of, cross that off and create a new path, create this new situation, this new circumstance. So while we go through Mars's retrograde from now until the beginning part of 2025, we are on the bench. We are taking limited action. We are reassessing a lot of different things. And again, we're having to come to a certain term of acceptance, a peaceful contentment type of place where we can kind of sit on the bench happily, just observing without absorbing. We have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Again, retrograde, looking back, We have to reflect, we have to revisit, we have to revise. We're in the Sagittarius energy, so we're looking at truth. We're looking at where we can expand on some tough love life lessons that we've already learned. We have Mercury sextiling, beautiful interaction, with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, of course, in this Aquarius energy. What do we get when fire and air are interacting? We get a spark. We get a spark of passion. We get a spark of desire, of creativity, of an aha moment that changes our perspective and our understanding, not only of what happened in the past, but really kind of reframes and restructures where it is that we're currently at. And once we know where we're currently at and what it is that we want to do and what it is that we never want to do again, we gain more information and insight on what the possibilities, the options, the opportunities to move on and move forward actually look like. So we have Mercury and Venus coming together, and this is definitely going to, let's say, open us up, be a little bit more willing to kind of cooperate, to compromise, especially in relationship dynamics. We are in a situation where we're definitely more expressive of our thoughts, our emotions, our affections, more so than any other time. But we're also analyzing the shit out of ourselves, out of our partners, out of our interactions, over something that we said when we were in grade 8 and the embarrassment that comes with that. That's just Mercury retrograde. This is a time for us to, again, reframe the past in order for us to reframe the present, in order to open us up to new options and opportunities to move on and move forward. This is going to be an aha moment. This is going to be a trigger and an activation, not only in our head space, but in our heart space as well. We have the moon in Taurus coming up to, bumping into, teaming up with Uranus, the great awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. Uranus is supposed to be highlighting for us where it is that we're overly attached to the old, where it is that we're continuously holding on to dead weight, where people, places, and things are concerned, where we've outgrown, yet we're not able to let go, release, and move on. A conjunction is just as much of an ending as it is a beginning. And so again, what we're ending is this, let's call it, well, we're in a fixed energy, fixed earth energy, so stubbornness, okay? The inability to release what it is that we no longer want, need, and desire in order to create the time, energy, and space for something better aligned to our soul to actually take place. We are holding on to the old while praying for the new, but again, not willing to get up and answer the door when opportunity knocks. So we're putting something behind us. Again, we're reframing something. And because of this, new energy of this conjunction, because it is a beginning as well, we're having an aha moment, an epiphany on where it is that, guess what, we're ready to let certain people, places, things go. This is going to help us lighten the load, so to speak, for us to move on and move forward. We have the moon making a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is in Pisces energy. We love Pisces and Taurus energy working together because whatever it is that we can dream up in our inner realm, we're able to bring it to life into this physical realm through the Taurus energy. We love this interaction because Saturn, although bringing a little bit of a reality check, also brings the ability for us to organize our thoughts, organize our feelings, and therefore understand the systematic structure, process that we have to go through to eliminate some things in order to clear the space, clean the slate for us to be building towards new things as well. This has a major impact on the new goals, visions, and dreams that we have. This has a major impact on where it is that we're closing the door on old visions and dreams that the old version of self once had. And again, it's just providing us this anchored energy that we need to look at our lives from logical, practical, rational lens and really kind of discern, again, what needs to stay and what needs to go. We have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money in this Aquarius energy, making a positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. This is going to help us kind of open up again, open up the heart space, open up the head space, be a little bit more willing to learn, to grow, to listen, especially to the people in our lives that, again, we have a personal relationship dynamic with that, again, maybe get a little bit choppy over the last couple of weeks. We are much more open and receptive to listening to other people's wants, needs, desires, and in some cases complaints, but do not let that particular receptive energy prevent you from being the one that is speaking your truth. We have the moon in Taurus, sextiling, beautiful interaction, with Neptune, who is now direct in his rulership in this Pisces energy. Again, Taurus and Pisces energy working very well together. This is going to be the last aspect that the moon in Taurus is going to be making before going void, of course. And it is a beautiful one because it reminds us that we can give ourselves permission to move into La La Land, to dream up this goal, vision, and dream that we essentially want to achieve at one point in our lives, and actually give ourselves permission to wander that far into the future without the overwhelming pressure to actually do something about it in the present moment, in the here and now. That's kind of where, we want to stick into the present moment with that moon and Taurus energy. That's the only reason why we don't want to think that far ahead and that far in the past, is because we get overwhelmed with all of the things. If we can give ourselves permission to move into imaginary land without the accountability, responsibility, and the pressure to actually act upon what would need to be acted upon in order to bring this goal, vision, dream to life, everything is peachy keen. So 7:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going void, of course. We lock into that Gemini energy, 12:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do not have your moon guide available, of course, it started under the new moon in Sagittarius. That's where we started our manifesting energies. If you do not have that guide available to you, I'm going to recommend you do so, because now we're moving into the full moon energy. And from now until about the 17th-ish, you're going to want to pay special attention to the new information, the new details, the new perspectives, the new thoughts, the new ideas popping into your mental plane. This is how we manifest. We have to stay in alignment. The Gemini energy is going to attempt to divide us, again, weighing the pros and cons of all the different options and opportunities. But again, we're not in the full moon energy as of yet. There's still a full illumination of situations, circumstances, details, and informations that we're currently lacking that will come front and center over the next couple of days. So we lock into that Gemini energy, 12:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The very first aspect that the moon in Gemini is going to be making is a positive interaction, a trine with Pluto, the great transformer in this Aquarius energy. So this is air on air action in the most favorable of ways, which puts us all up in the headspace, logically, practically sorting through information and details. Again, weighing the pros and cons, again, just using our discernment on the big picture of where it is that we would like to end up, Aquarius energy, what needs to change and transform, Pluto in Aquarius energy, in order to get us from where it is that we're currently at, sitting on the fence trying to weigh pros and cons of all different options, Gemini energy, to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at, Gemini energy, to where it is that we desire to be, Aquarius energy. So this is a beautiful boss up energy where we finally start seeing the options and opportunities that we have available to us in this present moment, in the here and now, to make the small moves in the present moment to align ourselves with the futuristic goals, visions, and dreams that we would like to be manifesting. The moon in Gemini then going to sextile, beautiful interaction with that north node in Aries energy. Again, air and fire, we get a spark. That north node trying to get us on the right path to reach our soul's potential, to reach our soul's mission. And we are going to have a spark of creative solution, of creative ideas in order for us to see where it is that we have to move on, we have to move forward. There's new topics and themes that we want to learn. There's a new adventure, a new quest that we need to explore. So this is putting us in the right kind of mood, attitude, mindset, and heart space to be a little bit more open to thinking about the options and opportunities that we currently have available to us. The moon is then going to make a harsh interaction with Chiron. So just when we start feeling good, just when we're empowered, just when we're starting to kind of, see the light bulb moments kind of take us in a new path, a new direction, we kind of start beating ourselves up and breaking ourselves down, and we start moving into the fears and the doubts and the insecurities, and do we have the ability to actually achieve what we want to achieve, and all of these things. Again, when Chiron, the wounded healer, is being aspected and not in a nice way, we're going to be sitting in the wounds. And at this particular juncture, we're picking the almost healed scabs off. So we're re-exposing the wounds, if you will, rubbing salt in those wounds in order for us to, again, stay in a state of paralysis. That's what our ego wants, is for us to stay the same. So we have the moon later on sextiling with Mars. Mars, of course, the god of war, he's retrograde in the heart and soul of the zodiac in this Leo energy. He's got ants in his pants. He is restless as all F, sitting on the bench, having to observe life instead of being an active participant in it. Not his greatest look. However, he is managing his energy very, very well. And again, we have the fire energy of Leo, the heart and soul of the zodiac, and we have the air energy of the division of the mental plane, again, ego ruled versus intuition ruled. And they're working together to help us get motivated and focused and determined on what actually means the most to us at this present moment, where our values are at, where our priorities are at, where our creative energy is at, what we want to do, what we want to pursue. Are we going to take action upon it? Absolutely not. But we're cultivating the fire, the spark, the flame that is needed in our inner realm in order to see this particular path through. Now, the last thing that we got going on here today is the moon in this Gemini energy, directly opposing and sitting across from Mercury. Mercury rules over the Gemini energy that the moon is in. Mercury, of course, is retrograde, so the mental plane is looking back, reflective, analyzing, plucking out the silver linings of the past, if you will. And in Sagittarius energy, Gemini and Sagittarius energy, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. There's a tension there. The Gemini energy is what I know. Here's the proof. Here's the receipts. The Sag energy is what I believe, okay? And you can't believe and know something at the same time. Belief can only be created in the absence of knowing. And so we have to find a balance point between what we know to be true and what we believe to be true. And that essentially becomes our own personal truth. We have the moon, which is our heart space. We have Mercury, which is our head space. They're at odds with each other. They're not on the same page. They're not even in the same book. And so again, we, emotionally speaking, trying to think logic and practically through the choices, the options that we currently have available to us. But the Sag energy knows that there's something greater that lies beyond what the physical options and opportunities actually are. That's where manifesting comes in. So if you can believe it, you can achieve it, regardless of whether you're given the evidence, the proof of that particular goal even being able to be achieved here in the physical realm.